Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Adrian, that's Rob.
I can say my own name. I'm Rob.
Okay, he apparently can say his own name. Well, anywho, this is the On the Fence movie review. And today we're going to be talking about the movie Us. Rob, let's get right into it. What did you like about this film?
What did I like about this film? I enjoyed, I guess, I don't know, I like horrors, and it was a good horror movie with, I'm trying to think of the word for it, with a twist. Good horror movie with a twist.
Okay.
So.
That's what you got?
That's what I got. Go ahead.
All right. For me, I'm not a horror fan at all. I don't really care for horror or genre, as like a lot of people are saying right now. It's like the new thing now is to call it genre. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. Horror, I'll just stick with horror. For me, I'm not a big horror fan. I don't really go watch them, but Get Out was so good, and for me, it was a little bit more of a psychological thriller than it was a horror. But it works so well, and I liked his style. And then when I saw the trailers for this film, Us, it really stuck out to me, and I almost got like that Twilight Zone feeling from that film because from the trailers.
Okay.
And I thought it was appropriate that Jordan Peele is producing the current TV series now, the reboot, if you will. So I was like, I gotta go see this. I gotta check this out. So when I actually went out to the movie theater and watched it, but what I liked most about this film was just the overall sense of terror, the overall sense of, it builds. It starts off slow and kind of builds. Even that opening scene, it's a little terrifying, and then it kind of builds from there. And then when it gets to point where almost turns into a little bit of a home invasion to almost like a little bit of a chase film because they're kind of on the run once they get out of the house. And some of the kill scenes were a little bit brutal and intense, and so you had that constant feel of terror, and I like that. And I thought, if you're a fan of just that straight horror film, I think you'll like it. Again, the little Easter eggs, if you will, that he puts in those films, great. I loved all of them. My favorite, now someone online, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I loved the Star Wars reference, in that film, and I caught it, and I thought it was great. I thought, but overall, I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. I thought those things were good, and everything worked. Lupita Nyong'o worked on it really well. She was fantastic. Winston Duke, great. I like the comedy that he kind of brought to the film. So the family dynamic in this film together as a cohesive worked, and I thought that was great. That was one of the best things of that film. Now, I don't know if you had anything else.
I was just stuff you were saying just kept reminding me of all the things that I did like about it was Winston Duke. His like portrayal as his comedy is like how almost like like a dorky dad comedy. And it worked, and it was funny. There was times I was watching it and I was just like that's stupid, but it's funny. And just even the scene where his doppelganger is on where they're outside on the lake on the boat. That part kind of got me, and so I don't want to spoil anything, but it all works. Just watch the movie.
It all.
I get what you're saying, and even like the kids, they did a great job in their roles because if I remember correctly, they played their doppelgangers.
Yeah, they do.
So just being able to go from like a normal family to this kind of crazy family,
and that can be tough for an actor to do. Is essentially play two roles in that film, and they pulled it off very well.
Yeah, I think they did. Everyone.
Especially I don't remember the little boy's name, but he was great. I loved him.
Yes.
He like next to Lupita Nyong'o, he was like my second.
I feel like he had a harder role more than anyone, just because of how different his character was. So I don't know, but definitely a big standout, and something I really enjoyed was all the actors playing their different roles and how they played them.
Yeah, and so again, with all that, we just explained what we liked. So what Or the things you didn't like about this film.
What I didn't like. Now, Adrian, my friend, is not a big horror fan. I am. I felt like when you say like as far as like graphicness of like the horror, I didn't feel it was graphic enough. I mean, I understand.
You're a little more desensitized than I am.
Yes, I am.
You're used to the violence.
Yes, I am. Yes. So like when certain things are happening and they kind of in a creative way. So I can't complain too much. In a creative way, they cut to a certain shot where you can't see anything, or you're kind of blinded to what's the violence that's going on. I understand it, but it was just like it was. I don't know. I didn't feel like in dread.
Okay.
In this movie, there were parts where like it was suspenseful, but I never felt like.
See, now I get that, and that was the thing. It's very Hitchcockian, but that was the thing where Hitchcock would say like your mind can create more terror than anybody could ever show you.
Right.
And I think that's what he was doing. Was kind of when you cut away, it kind of builds that.
I've been shown a lot of terror, so I need to see it. So that's just.
you wanted the payoff.
Yes, I wanted the payoff,
and the kills.
Not to say it was not like the scenes weren't good or great. It was just I wanted that little extra that would have probably for me been like, okay, that took it to another level. But I mean, it was still that was the only thing I could say that was like, maybe there wasn't that kind of my complaint about it.
Okay.
If I'm gonna nitpick, but I mean, something minor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, again, I'm not too keen on horror like you are. So I was kind of going off of just some of the horror films that I've seen, which aren't a lot, but that, and then also kind of comparing it a little bit to Get Out. Okay. And Get Out, had a great story. It was intense and suspenseful, and so when you kind of compare that, it's almost unfair.
Right.
So for me, it's a little bit of a nitpick. So I tried not to, but it was kind of hard for me because the thing with Get Out that worked so well also was that it had something to say. Mm-hmm. And this one does, but I feel like the message doesn't get across quite as well. And then with that, also to the payoff at the very end, it may work for some people, but for me, it just didn't quite get there or get me there. Like, and again, it's a little nitpick. It's not terrible. It's not like, oh my god, this film sucks now because of the ending. If you're cool with the ending, great. If not, also great. That's on you. But for me, it just didn't quite work out, especially that last shot at the end, which is what I'm talking about. It was kind of almost cheesy for me. I was like, okay, I guess.
I can see that. For me, I had no feeling about the end. The ending didn't. I was just like, okay, when the ending happens and the movie's over, I'm like, okay, the rest of the movie, if you take out the ending. The rest of the movie for me, I was like, this was a good movie. Yeah. And like you were saying, a lot of people compare Get Out to Us. I feel like they're not the same movie. Like you can't even compare them.
Right. And I agree with that to an extent. But again, I mean, how many times do you with another director's film like Tarantino? Oh, it's not as good as his last film. It's not as good as Kill Bill.
Or Shyamalan. You like, oh, this movie.
It's not as good as.
I totally get it, but
that's what happens when you become an auteur. Everybody wants to compare your movie to your last movie. That's just the way it works. But no, I get what you're saying too. It's not fair because again, they're two totally different films.
Right.
But again, what works and what doesn't, that it is what it is. I mean, again, okay. So, what's your final overall review, and what's your rating?
My overall review, I would say. Oh man, I really liked the movie. I had no feelings about the ending. It wasn't like that's dumb. I was like, okay, but the acting in the movie, the suspense, the horror, it is a horror. I mean, the horror elements of everything. The home invasion, the chasing, just the music. The music.
It was good. The way
they go hand in hand together.
And then the way that he worked in I Got Five on it into the score worked perfectly. Yes. And then actually that was one of my favorite parts of the movies was when they went to the friend's house and that song kicks in and the daughter opens the door. Yeah. And it was kind of like That was so cool.
Yes.
I like that part a lot.
That was a highlight scene or piece in that movie for me. But I mean, if you throw in the acting, the music, the just like you're saying, the particular scenes, you put those all together, and I'm definitely gonna say I'm gonna jump over that fence and go check out that movie.
Yeah. I think the same for me. I would jump off that fence, go to your local movie theater, and go check this film out. Because for me, yes, I did have some little minor nitpicks about it. There are some plot holes, obviously, and when you see it, you'll know. But for me, I can put that all aside because it was still a very entertaining film. It was still worked for me, even though the message didn't quite land for me or get across. It still worked, and I would say jump off that fence, go see this movie. I think you'll have a good time. Even if you're not a horror fan. So anyway, I'm Adrian, this is Rob. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.